Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for another sit down video. The last time I did a sit down video was a book haul and I was sharing how I missed doing a sit down video. Like I haven't sat down in front of the camera and talked your ears off. Like it's been so long. I feel like I was on my vlogging game, which I loved, and I still love like vlogging and literally having the best time this summer vlogging it and showing you guys and bringing you guys along. But do I miss a good sit down video? Absolutely. So I'm excited for another one, and today I'm going to do the mid-year freakout book tag. I literally just found this online. It's by booksare42.com, just so I could get a bunch of questions about like all the books that I read this year so far, which is wild to think that we are halfway through 2025. What are we gonna do? This is a situation. Time will never ever stop. We just have to comprehend that. I just have to comprehend that, not we. Anyways, I'm excited to answer these questions, and let's get into my mid-year book recap. Before we dive into the tag, I just also want to share again, I've shared it in these past few videos that I've posted, but in my description there are a bunch of links to help the immigrant community, especially what is going on in the world and all the ICE raids that are happening. Absolutely inhumane. No human being should be treated this way, should be arrested, should be abused and kidnapped and like into ICE custody. Like that is absolutely scary, and it's super heartbreaking for me to see, especially as a first-generation immigrant. It breaks my heart to see my community being treated this way. And I just want to share again that there are links in the description, mutual aids, resources, what to do if you're approached by ICE, and more information to spread, and just to keep yourself updated and educated on what is happening in the world. These are super scary time, and with the current administration that we have right now, awful things are happening every single day. Bills are being passed that are putting millions of people in dangerous situation, in struggle, in adversity, and it's just scary to see like right in front of our eyes, or even through like the phone screen. So definitely stay safe and keep yourself updated on what is happening in the world. Now we're going to jump into the book tag, which is a little bit of a shift in tone, but I am really excited to show you all the books that I read so far and which one stands out this year. So basically I have a reading tracker and I track every single book that I read. It is a lot, but I love it because it's the only way I can actually like remember, especially when it comes to the end of the year and I'm doing this like my year-long book recap. I will not remember what I read in January if I don't keep track of it. First question, what is the best book you read so far in 2025? One singular book? Absolutely not. I am a girl with a stack forever. I had to limit myself to 4 because I feel like I could pull all of my 5-star books and be like, these are the best books I read so far this year. But the first book that blew me out of the water this year was Butcher and Blackbird. This was my first 5-star of the year, which is really exciting. And it surprised me a lot because this is a dark romance. It's about 2 serial killers who fall in love, and they have this like annual competition where they try to kill the same person, and whoever, I think it's like best 3 out of 5 wins. And that sounds very, very dark, and it is. There are a lot of like gruesome parts, but there are serial killers who kill other serial killers who are bad people. And I don't know how much better that makes this whole situation because they themselves are also serial killers, but just put that into perspective. They're only killing bad people. This one surprised me so much because it was absolutely hilarious. This is a dark rom-com, which I didn't know was like a genre, and now I'm obsessed with dark rom-coms. It was so freaking funny. Like there were so many scenes where I laughed out loud just because Rowan is a hilarious guy. Like he has the best sense of humor, and Sloane she just feeds into it. They bring out the best in each other, and like despite what they're doing on the pages, they just have like the best communication. Like they're so flirty, there's so much tension and banter, especially in the early stages where they were waiting for their game every single year and they weren't really seeing each other in between. That like yearning, loved it. Next we have First Time Caller. This is my first BK Borison book, and I was absolutely in love. I read this on audiobook, obsessed with it. I just like ate this up right away. Everything about it was absolutely magical. I was obsessed the moment I started listening to it. It is about a radio show host, and it's like a love radio show host. It's about romance. Aiden, who is the host of that show, gets a call from this little girl talking about like her mom is single and blah blah blah, like her mom needs to date again, and he's like, what the heck, this is like a kid. And her mom picks up the phone and is like, who are you talking to? Why would you call my daughter? Do you know she's 8 years old? Like, you freak. Valid. And he goes, she called me and you're on the radio right now. That's how they connect, and eventually she joins the radio show. And the general idea is that he is trying to set her up on a date. People are calling in and they just want to help Lucy find her love. Her love might not be sitting too far from her. It's so cute. It's giving Sleepless in Seattle. Never seen that movie. Everyone I talked about this book to says, oh, it's kind of like Sleepless in Seattle vibes. And I'm like, whatever that means. But no, I'm obsessed with this. I think this is a great book. Out of the Woods, in love with this book. I think I'm in love with this author as well. I've only read about 2 or 3 books from her. I think 3. And every single one has just been so emotional and so well written. Like, I always feel that I am one with the characters. Like, I do really find myself embedded into these stories that she writes, and I just feel like she brings out emotions so well. You just have to be there. You just have to read a Hannah Bohm Young book and be there. But this one is about high school sweethearts who got married super young, and Sarah has dealt with grief at a very young age, and it kind of shows how it carries on throughout her entire life, like through marriage and through her adulthood, and how grief is dealt with by everyone so differently. And then lastly, another dark romance, Lights Out. Dark rom-com. I'm like, why is it such a good genre, and like, why has it taken me so long to read? This one was absolutely hilarious. It is about Allie, a trauma nurse, and Josh, who is a hacker. Basically, like, he can hack literally anything cyber security wise. He is also a part-time content creator, and he makes like thirst traps on TikTok basically, and he's like masked. Josh, he is such a golden retriever. Like, he is such a lover boy, and the more that I got to know him throughout this book, I was like, he's such a softie, and I loved it. And I think this book is absolutely hilarious, and I'm obsessed with it basically. Those are my top reads of this year. I could go on and pull all of my 5-star reads, but top 4 for now. What has been your favorite sequel of the first half of the year? Of course, on the same theme of Lights Out, Caught Up was released this year, and Caught Up is the second book to Lights Out. I just repeated myself. I don't need to do that. This one is about Junior, who is Allie's cousin, and he's in like the mafia mob. In the first book, you can see that she was like really against it. She did not want to share about it with Josh. She doesn't want to get involved with the mob. Like, that's one side of her family that she really distanced herself from. And the second book is about him and his high school, I don't know if sweetheart is the right word, but they definitely had like a fling, a connection the summer during high school, but they had this really big fallout, this really dramatic and traumatic thing for Lauren, who's the female main character. And now this is like fast forward years, like 10 years later, they're in their adulthood. They still have that like really intense connection and chemistry. And so she is really questioning like what to do. I am only halfway through this book. I am on page 153. So like basically halfway through. But I can already tell it's going to be a 5-star read, if not at least a 4 stars. Like, I have enjoyed myself throughout this whole entire book, throughout this whole first beginning of the book. And honestly, I have a bad habit of like skipping ahead and reading a few chapters, then going back to where I'm at and like definitely reading the ending. So I already kind of spoiled it for myself, and I know I'm going to love it, which is such a bad habit. I'm not like building that anticipation, that suspension, but I can't help it. Like, what's a girl gonna do, right? There's something similar about Josh and Junior. It's that they are like built out to be these like really scary men, especially with like the job that they have, like Josh being like a cyber hacker and literally can hack into any single system, and Junior being a part of the mafia mob. The more you get to know them, the more deep down they're such big softies. Like, they're golden retriever, they're yearners, they will do anything for their woman. That's that. I'm super excited to finish this book, and I'm just obsessed with it. I have a vacation planned this weekend, and I kind of want to bring it, but I'm like, is this crazy to read on the plane? And is it crazy to read when I'm in the hotel with my friends? Like, I don't want my friends to peek over and be like, what the hell? Even though they probably know the stuff I'm reading, but still, like, what the hell? Third question, is there a new release you haven't read yet, but you're really excited to? Yes, there are a few new releases I'm super excited about, but I haven't read them yet. One of them being Scythe and Sparrow, which is the 3rd book in the Ruinous Love series, which is part of the world of Butcher and Blackbird, and then it comes Lark and Leather. So I'm excited for this 3rd book, which is about Fionn and Rose, Fionn is a doctor, and he really stays away from the world of like serial killers that his brother is really into, and Rose is a serial killer. So as much as he can stay away from it, the lover that he has chosen is a serial killer. I believe she's also in the circus, and Fionn's a doctor. There's like, this whole universe is kind of crazy. Like, there's a lot of pieces and details, but I'm super excited to wrap up this series and just learn more about the last brother in the Kane Brotherhood, and I'm excited for snippets of Sloane and Rowan because I love them so much. Next, what is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? I am super excited for Toto Dreamboat by Caitlin Doyle. This author had a debut novel last year, and I read it on a whim. Definitely did not know anything about it. I was on Libby, like I was working, and I was like, oh, I feel like I could use an audiobook right now, like in the background as I'm working. I really need to lock in. It's called Just Some Stupid Love Story. Finished it within a day because I was so obsessed with it. The author's coming out with a second book towards the end of this year. Never mind, so I totally answered this question wrong. This book was released like last week, but I'm just excited to read more from this author. I actually don't really know what this book is about. I saw on Libby that this author released a new book, so I just unhold it and now it's on my TBR, but I don't really know what it's about. But I have high expectations because I loved her debut novel. What was your biggest disappointment of this year? Not every single book we read can be a hit. I have two books that come to mind. I don't have it physically, but the first book, I actually can't say the name, but it's called The Pea Next Door. So this is part of like the Kingsman series. I believe they're all brothers, but they are professional football players, and it's just a fun, lighthearted sports romance series of these football players falling in love and finding their true happy ever after. And I don't know if the female main character is Vietnamese or she just went to Vietnam, is now like obsessed with Vietnamese culture. In the book, there was a part in the audiobook, I think I was maybe like 30% or 40% in, where she goes on a date with the male main character, the football player, and it's a pho restaurant and she ordered in Vietnamese. And I'm sure on paper it looks different, but the audiobook experience was a no for me. Didn't even try. No pronunciation. Just saying, just talking. And I was just so confused because I was like, that's supposed to be my language, but I'm not hearing my language. Nothing about it was accurate, and also, even if it was on paper, the way the sentences were phrased, it was like a Google Direct Translate, like with languages when you Google Translate, even if you do it with any language, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be 100% accurate because the dialect, the way they communicate, like the formality, it's different. I was just like, I can't do this right now. Like, I don't actually want to do it at all. Another one is Temple of Swoon. This is the second book in Raiders of the Lost Heart. I absolutely loved the first book. Loved everything about it. I thought the tension, the banter was top tier, the chemistry, the anticipation. And so I was really excited for the second book, but it just didn't hit the same. I feel like a lot of the themes and tropes were repetitive, which is fair. I mean, it's in the same series, it's in the same universe, and they're archaeologists and they're going to dig, but it just didn't feel unique. Like, it didn't stand out. That's a book that kind of disappointed me, and I had really high hopes for it because I absolutely adored the first book and the writing style of this author. But moving on, what is your biggest surprise book of this year so far? I will have to say The Roommate by Bosie Danan. I literally was so shocked by this book because I have heard about it for years. It always seemed interesting and I was like, yeah, I would like love to read it. It's on my TBR. It sounds fun. It sounds cute. Basically, Clara has a crush on this guy since like childhood. Not Josh. He is a rock star. He's in a band. He basically says that he has an extra room this summer, like in his East Coast house. Like, do you want to move in? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh my gosh, like this is it. This is the summer I make my move. This is the summer we fall in love and get married. When she gets there, he goes, I'm going on tour this summer. Bye. Like, sorry. And I rented out my room to someone else. And that someone else happens to be Josh. And he is a adult film actor, and she is kind of like the opposite. She's like a goody two-shoe and she has a lot of curiosity, but she is like stereotypical, like bookworm, doesn't really get out much and just has no idea. And so basically this is the summer of them living together and learning more about each other, and they actually end up working on a project together. It's more like business project. It surprised me a lot because I was like, this book is so good. There's so much depth to it. And while like the romance was really strong and I loved it, I just loved like the storytelling and like the things outside of their romance. What is a book that made you cry? I don't think I've actually cried to a book this year. I think the ending of Butcher and Blackbird, with this specific scene, it like turned my stomach. And I think I shedded a tear. Out of the Woods definitely made me super emotional on the sad scale because of all the things that like Sarah was going through and how much I related to her. But I don't think I like actually cried and sobbed to a book. And I usually don't, so. A book that made you happy. I picked up this book, Beg, Borrowed, or Steal. I also listened to it on audiobook, and it genuinely, I love Sarah Adams' writing so much. It's so cute and fluffy and just like sweet. And it's just like pure happiness. Like, I loved it. It's just so simple and such like a good love story. This is about Emily and Jack, and they are both second grade teachers, I believe. If not second grade, they're teachers. And they're an enemy situation. They don't get along. And then small world, he ends up being her neighbor and they end up working at the same school. and they end up teaming together to help her write a novel, which is like one of her goals. I loved it. I think it's just like so cute and lighthearted, and there's a lot of good banter, but also like this buildup of trust and communication in their relationship was also really sweet. Last question of the book tag. What books do you want to read by the end of this year? Great question, because I have a never-ending TBR. So basically everything within the first 3 rows of my bookshelf I would love to read by the end of the year, but I don't know if that's really realistic. That wraps up my mid-year freakout book tag that I found online. I am so excited about all the other good books we will read for the rest of this year and just all the exciting things that will happen in my life. Let me know what has been some of your favorite books that you read this year. Definitely give me recommendations, as well as any videos you want to see from me in the future, just because I want to create content that you guys want to see. And that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!